Hi everyone, my name is Tom Turnbull. I'm one of the co-founders of OpenSesame. It's great to see this startup community here. As a startup junkie myself, this is my fourth startup, and I've been through two in California, two up here in Portland, and I've seen the whole spectrum from one that ran out of money and had to fire everyone to one that went public and one that was sold, and OpenSesame is the fourth one that I've been involved with. It's also really interesting to see all the different education ed tech companies here in Portland doing different things in very different markets. So OpenSesame is focused on a very different market than the others that you've seen so far. We're focused on the corporate market, so adult learners employed in typically larger companies. We started OpenSesame because we saw lots of really interesting things happening in the marketplace. First of all, it's pretty much relatively unknown that the training market is absolutely huge. It's a $38 billion market. When you look at it compared to other digital media markets, which is how we look at this market, we look at it like a media market. It's much bigger than the music market or several of the other entertainment-related markets that you see out there. So it's a massive market, and it's relatively unserved in terms of new business models. Lots of things are happening in terms of technology and generational changes. So especially with millennials, they expect to be able to take courses online. They expect to be able to learn online. We hear all kinds of feedback from companies where especially again younger employees want to be able to take courses online versus sitting in a classroom. And another thing, as everyone here well knows, you have to keep learning or you fall behind. So adults never stop learning. And classroom training will never go away. It's always really important. I like to go to in-person classes myself. They're enjoyable for a lot of different reasons. But e-learning is just a much more efficient way to gain knowledge in a quick basis when you want to. There's a big shift happening. So training hours, so there's an analyst firm called Burst, and they track classroom training hours versus online training hours. And the shift where we cross over into more online training hours happening is just, according to their projections, just a few years out. But the trend is pretty interesting. So we wanted to take advantage of what was going on in there. So what is OpenSesame? We're a marketplace for e-learning content. So we don't create any content ourselves. We partner with publishers that create content for delivery to the corporate training market. So some of our partners are companies that you would have heard of, like Franklin Covey, and many of them are companies that you would have never heard of unless you were in a particular industry segment, for example. We have, as of today, 314 different content partners and about 22,000 different courses that we offer. And these are all in things, in topics from leadership to sales training to desktop software training to technology training to industry-specific training like healthcare. One of the ways that I kind of jokingly describe what we do at OpenSesame is we're like Netflix, but we're the content that you wouldn't watch unless your boss told you had to. Our business model is very, very simple. It's a revenue share model. So as you can see from the chart here, we add courses from our publishers, and then we share out 60% of the revenue with our content partners, and we keep 40%. So a very, very, really incredibly simple model. We've heard some discussion about marketplace models in terms of how do you monitor quality, and quite frankly, when we first started, we were in content acquisition mode, and we had a lot more content than we do now. Right now we have 314 different providers, but we had well over 400. And we've removed many of them that we didn't want to have in the marketplace. So we became really more of what I call a curated marketplace in terms of the way to manage quality. Here's our competitive chart. So a lot of these companies you probably will have heard of if you're in the education space. And this is, and some of these have been mentioned here today. So we are all aggregated, curated content. Focused on the corporate training market, so not selling to individuals, selling to corporate buyers. And unlike Lynda, for example, we don't own the content. We aggregate the content through our partners. So there's three basic reasons why customers come to us. First, we have more content in this category than anyone else out there, actually by orders of magnitude. So we have got the single biggest place for content. This is kind of a boring point unless you are a training manager at a large company, but everything that we sell is compatible with every standards compliant learning management system. And I'm not going to go down that world of plumbing and technical standards, but that's a really big thing. We have a patent awarded on the process that we developed to make that happen. And then we have just incredibly easy ways to buy. So if you're a big company, you can buy a single course for a single user, or we have a subscription model that really does act like a Netflix model for e-learning. So there's lots of different flexible ways to buy. So this is maybe a little bit braggy, and I'm sorry for that, but we're a little company in Portland, Oregon. We've got 45 employees. We've done an A round. We're working on our B round. But we've brought on a lot of really great customers. So we've got this logo chart. And again, this is kind of braggy, but I'm sorry. But so little company in Portland, we've got Farmers Insurance, we've got McDonald's, we've got Caterpillar, we've got Honeywell, we've got Starbucks. We've got all these companies that have switched over to use us, and we're growing really, really quickly. So it's stuff that we're really proud of. In terms of where our particular focus is we're focused on, our real sweet spot is the Global 2000 enterprise companies, and so we're keeping score on that. So we currently have 32 of the Global 2000. So again, lots of logos, and we're proud of that. However, here's what we're really discovering. The reason that we win and we keep customers has nothing to do with technology. It has to do with something that's really part of our culture, which is customer service. So in many cases, we go more than out of our way and do some things that are maybe a little bit crazy from a business perspective in terms of making sure that our customers are happy. But we look to companies like Zappos and some of the approaches that they take in terms of making sure that customers are happy, and we follow that philosophy and approach. And I hear the duck. The duck never gets old. Love the duck. But I do want to plug one thing. We have our own event that's coming up for the weekend of April 22 to 24, which is we're calling it the Training Jam. And one of the big issues with our industry generally is that the level of content generally needs to be increased. It needs to improve quite a bit. So we're doing a format. It's a little bit like a startup weekend. We're bringing in game developers and folks who are buyers at large companies, some of our customers, to spend a weekend and to develop at a high level some new approaches to developing and delivering e-learning content. So if anyone would like to participate in this event, it's going to be really fun. You can go to training-jam.com and register. It's free. And then also Sarah, who I think she was here earlier, I think she had to take off. She's the one who's organizing that from our company. And I'm not a sponsor, so I'm really not going to pitch this, but we got lots of job openings. We're going to be hiring, making lots of hires over this year. So if anyone's looking for a new opportunity, check out our jobs page on the site.
Question.
Thank you.
So how do you compare to EF education first?
You'll have to tell me, what market do they focus on?
Corporate learning.
Are they a content developer?
They probably do their own content.
Okay, so this market is really interesting. It is easier than ever to create content. There's content development tools that are cheap, and many are open source and free to use. So almost anyone, a college professor, an accountant, can create courses and make them available. It's a really interesting marketplace. It's incredibly fragmented. There are thousands and thousands of content providers out there. So I don't know that particular one.
I think they're called Ashford, actually. The business side is called Ashford.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with them. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So can you the elevator pitch on curating of we decided nameless case study about when content wasn't up to snuff, how you go about because that sort of customer service in line with curating.
Yeah, it's one of those when you see it test. So there's certain things that are objective. Will the course work on a modern browser, right? So you do things like that, you test to make sure it works that way. There's a standard in the industry called Scorm. Is it Scorm Compliant? There's some basic production level features that you look at. There's that kind of laughability test almost, because some courses of people you see out there, you kind of snicker when you see them because they're kind of old-fashioned looking and corny, so you don't want stuff that kind of looks bad, but it becomes a little bit subjective in that sense. But we have a content team, we have a VP of content and a team. They review every single provider before we add a new one, and again, we've gotten rid of many, well over 100 actually.
Thank you very much. Last question.
I just saw one way in the back, so.
Way in the back.
You gotta feel sorry for the guy way in the back,
Would
right?
you ever consider like a machine learning algorithm to identify corny styled content?
If you got an idea how to make that happen, let me know. But yeah, to the extent, that's part of our business that's less scalable, right? Because we need to review content and we can't just open it up to all comers. So that's an issue.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Yep, thanks.